This summer was really a lot more about solving some of the problems that we've had in the past and really focusing on increasing reliability and redundancy within the campus network on almost every level.
So everything has to go through our network to get to the internet? Can you show us how that works?
That's right. We have our access layer, the point of access, where the users get onto the network. And so that's going to be your wireless access point, your wired port that you're plugging into. That's the point at which you enter the network. And then you go into the building network, which connects into our distribution layer. And that goes into our core router, which does all the routing for networks on campus. Then we have the firewall, which protects the campus resources and data center resources. And then we go to our border router and then out to the internet.
What were the upgrades? Can you show us?
The distribution layer is really the first place where we had some major upgrades this summer. We've replaced every single switch in the distribution layer with new equipment. So we replaced them with a faster switch. By faster, I mean lower latency. And we replaced it with switches that have a higher port density of 10 gig. And that's really to enable going forward our new network standard for building networks, which is a 10 gig feed into every single building. In the core, the major change was we were able to update the software with the vendor recommendations where they've eliminated all of the bugs they had with their clustering and bring the second node online. If the core router is down, basically nobody's going anywhere. So it's really important that we have that layer of redundancy, of high availability in the core in order to ensure that all of the network uptimes for the campus are as good as they possibly can be. And then the last upgrade that we did this summer was we were finally able to add a second border router.
Did any of the changes affect the data center?
Before we made the change to the data center, if a student was in their apartment and they wanted to go to isis.york.edu, they would go out to the internet, and that would come into our border router and then traverse the firewall, and then the traffic would flow into the core router and then over into the data center. So with the new configuration of the data center, that user's traffic flows from their house out to the internet, into the border router, into the firewall, and then directly into the data center.
Thanks, David. That was helpful. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you wanted to share?
The expectation today is that we run a 24/7 learning environment. There's really not a time when students aren't engaging our resources. And so we have to provide the most uptime we can. If the student's in the union, on a Sunday afternoon and they've got a paper due the next day, the internet needs to work for them. We understand that. So we are very focused on ensuring that the reliability and redundancy of the network is there so that everyone can do what they need to do to fulfill the educational mission of the institution.